Welcome, Bass Galaxy. We are
What's going?
here. We got Christopher Grow, Brad Leitner, and the one and only straight up Canadian Brucey.
What's up,
They're
girl?
in the
Good
house
intro,
in the
bud.
house. How the heck you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. It's great to see you in the three box
Yeah,
here. We
good,
got you on
good,
the
good, good.
panel.
Heck yeah, but this is what we got tonight, there, boys and girls. We're gonna have an interesting evening. We are going to talk to the one and only Chris Miller, the Texas First Division Two Open champion. So we're gonna rock and roll, talk to him. So we got that.
Yeah,
Where's the applause?
we got some points race stuff to talk about too. We got to talk about the Clarks Hill one. Got to talk about where we're at. There's a lot of people, might be licking their wounds after that one dayer, but
Oh
I
my
got some good
God!
news for you.
I think
And,
two of us are here, most definitely.
and we gotta reach out and thank Pat and make sure everyone knows. Go behind the tank with Pat tomorrow at the first. I think he does it the first 3 days of competition. Each elite, you gotta go to YouTube on Bassmasters and watch him. That's pretty interesting stuff there.
No,
Patty will get
that's
the
gonna be really
juice.
cool.
He's
That
a
will be
damn
fun.
investigator. He'll get in there. He'll prod and pry, and there ain't going to be holding anything back from that boy.
Well, no, too, and he's gonna have some surprises. You know what I mean? Like that should be good. I know how Renwell could work well in there. He's a weasel, so.
So I got lucky enough to stay with you boys, and we had a damn house full.
Oh God!
Oh
God,
boy.
we must have had seven of us there. Chansey and Kenta parked in the lawn, and every bed and couch were occupied. We had full bass camp barking, and she was nonstop laughs.
It was. We had one bathroom, as I saw on your YouTube, Brucey. That was definitely the smallest one bathroom unit, but we made it work.
Oh yeah.
I'm just happy I didn't have to break in there and use the crapper when girl was showering. I mean, that was my highlight of the week, honestly.
I just want to know one thing here, guys. And Brucey, this is your responsibility. Why did I get not warned about the tubs, about Brad taking tubbies? What is that all about?
Brad doesn't run the tub tugs around me. He I heard about it from his travel guys last year. He would sneak off the water before I would get off and have himself a soak. But Raz and Danny told me last year that he just turned into a full like tub pirate.
This is awesome.
Okay, when you guys get a new disc put in your back and you go stand in a boat all day, like the nice warm tub is pretty relaxing.
That's awesome. What's nice about staying with you fellas that are not 21-year-old flat brimmers. No shame to those boys, but the boys that are seasoned vets on the road, they know the secrets. They know, the way of the road.
Yeah. Well, the one big thing is I noticed because we let Tommy try picking a VRBO, and man, a raccoon wouldn't even lived in there. So yeah, you can't let kids pick VRBOs.
Yeah, do not stay at Nitro Ken's. Sorry, Nitro Ken, but you cannot have rat shit on the pull-out couch and expect.
Oh my goodness!
There. But in their defense, like this kid thought he was getting the deal of the decade like 2 weeks before the tournament. It's not gonna. If it's $100 a night and there's 4 or 5 of you staying there, it's not going to be good. Like you may as well sleep in the ditch.
Yeah. I said that right away. I'm like, 160 a piece. I'm like, this is not going to be good.
No. I got a funny story about the single bathroom deal. I was in the first flight on what would have been day one. So I was out of there at like 4:30. I was like, yeah, we'll rip a coffee and get things rolling. And I went into the bathroom. There are 2 stalls. Rick Clun walked in at the same time. So he hopped in one. I hopped in the other one. And, the boys are just scrolling, enjoying the morning. We're not even taking off that day. And the door flies open, smashes against the wall, and all I hear is, oh, no. So someone for sure shit their pants on what would have been the first day of the Bassmaster Opens Division 2. I can't think of anyone that would be happier to have seen Hank Weldon on the mic saying the day's canceled. Because I know what it sounds like, and that was it. I'm sure Clun was just laughing his ass off.
Well, dude, all those mud bugs, I mean, you're going to poop yourself.
Oh, my God.
But we'll get off that. If you've been under a rock a little bit or don't follow the Opens that closely, we had a wild one this past week. It was weather shortened down to a 1-day shootout tournament. So we've got the winner coming on. He had 28 and change to win it. And it was just like, I don't know how you boys felt, but like, I'm back home now. I ended up doing a straight shot from Texas, and I woke up and I was just like, what happened? It was just gone.
Gone. Yeah. I hear you. I'm still in the South, so I'm still fishing. So I kind of shook it off quickly, but
yeah, I could have read the room. It says Sweet Home Alabama behind you. I'm like, oh yeah, you're back in the north.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you boys had, like I said, you had a tough one early, but I took a look at the numbers today, and she ain't that bad, fellas. Like, it's top 50. Everyone's kind of still gearing at it like you're still fishing for the top 9, and
a lot changes.
A triple digit finish hurts real bad, but like in the top 50. So I went through the divisions last year, which were only 3 tournaments a division. So technically, the numbers would probably even be lower finishes than I'm going to read off. But Division 1, to get 50th place out of the 225 boats, you needed an 83rd place average finish. That's in 3 tournaments. That's not much. Division 2, the top guys caught them a lot better. To achieve a 50th place finish in 3 tournaments, you needed a 65th place finish, 65th place average. Like that's bush
good.
league.
Yeah, that's
Division 3. There was like a glitch on the website, but I just know from personal experience, I couldn't weigh in on the final day of the Mississippi River and still finish 36th in the division. That was with 174th place.
Oh, so yeah. Okay. Well, you got me feeling better. Thanks.
Yeah,
Chris.
don't wounds. And like, I know a kid that's fishing it for the first time, and he's like, so someone with 100, and I think he asked specifically about Brett Height. He's like, he got 150th or 60th.
That's what I'm right. Brett Height's right above me.
Yeah, and he's like, so he's mathematically out. I was like, no, it's not. You don't have to maintain a 50th place average, and I think that's what a lot of people are thinking. You don't need to get. You don't. If you get 100th, you don't have to get first in the next one.
Yeah,
you just need to be in the top 50 spots.
Yeah,
so,
I need to catch them.
Don't. Yeah, any of the wound lickers, like, no one is out of it. If we're fighting for 3 spots or 9 spots, it'd be pack your bags, better luck next year. But don't worry about that. And then when the fall time swings around, like, that's going to be the mix up. Like, we've seen it before in the fall, Brad, like at Watts Bar, guys that you didn't hear from all year, like Ish, Lambert, Greg Bohannon. Like, you wouldn't hear a thing from these guys all year. We get into the fall, the boys get whopper plopping, and they're all the old legends kind of start creeping back in. So you still got to watch for a lot of the old boys. The way they switch it up is it's a little anti-flat brim, I'd say.
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah. You guys want to take a look at the results from that before we whip our boy on?
Sure.
We got some shout outs to give. Like, these boys earned it.
Yeah,
the Bassmaster BFL. Like, you got to catch the shit out of them to do good. So
yep.
We got Chris Miller coming on, obviously. Garrett Paquette, he's been on a roll.
Good dude.
He's on fire.
Yeah, he frigged him up again, and he's got nuts on him too. I talked to him at the Mississippi, and he was doing good, and he went and locked through anyway. Like, he goes for it.
Yep. No, he always does.
He said he was on Bass Talk Live, and he didn't catch a bass over 3.25 pounds in practice.
And then just sort of put the hammer down, huh?
And that's just how this tournament was. And I knew it was this way because when Drew Gill won the MLF last year, he said he didn't catch one over 3.75. And I'll be curious to ask our guest tonight how it went, because I think you said it, girl. It was like the Florida of Texas. It seemed like everyone had 2-pounders, and then the bag line just looked crazy.
No, it was definitely it was mind blowing, man. A big fish goes a long way. I mean, insane.
There were very few, like when you see 18 or 19 pounds on paper, you just think like, 3.5 to 4 pound average.
I got an 8-pounder in there, 7-pounder.
Yeah, it would look like a whale with
Yeah.
4 feeder fish like sucking off its teats.
Yep.
It was nuts. But Laker Howell did good.
Yep.
Again, he's leading the overall division. Guys that were no stranger to, Jack Dice. A lot of these guys came in late, and there was a lot of complaining about how they staggered the flights, which I thought was the most fair thing to do,
Fair.
especially because I was
For
in
sure.
and I was in the first flight, so it's easy for me to say. But yeah, a lot of people use it as a crutch to be like, "Oh,
Well,
my early morning cranking hole," and it's like if
Yeah,
you watch the last hour of the weigh in, it was just like 18:20, 18:20.
Well, I think, I mean, for me, I didn't catch a keeper until 2:45, so I think the afternoon was way better for me. But
That's nuts.
yeah,
you kept it together. I was proud of you.
yeah, I did. I mean, I thought my season was over at 2:30, and then at 3:15, I'm like, at least I got 5 of them.
Oh, heck yeah. At about 3:15, I was on my knees because I lost a meg. It was like a meg. Just totally. I mean, she was out at like 80 and just riding the surfaces. Wasn't me? Do you remember? I don't know what point you guys were at or where you're in the lake when we had that like hard rain for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I saw her cruising right under the surface and like I couldn't even close the bail on the minnow and it just like and she comes to the surface and it was over before it started. So
Yeah, when you're fishing for 1 bite a day and you dump it, that's
that was a dump. And then in the morning I dumped like a 3 3/4. So right at my hands, but
yeah.
like, so
That was a wild one because swinging for it to try to catch a big bag was the same as going to catch keepers.
100%. It was just
It's like the same program. You just threw it bigger blobs and chased around catfish for a while.
and look for clear water. That was the name too, and I know that helped Brad. I mean, because there was
so
some of the stuff was just blowing out, man. So some of the stuff I went to, of course.
it was shocking to me. Like, my main area was trash, and it really wasn't noticeably that much dirtier. But man, the fish weren't there.
No.
Or maybe they were on the bottom. I don't
But
freaking know.
classic Sam Rayburn, it'll still show you like a million crappie and white bass
Oh,
and
yeah.
all kinds of other stuff.
I mean,
Oh, God.
the catfish are incredible in that lake.
Dude,
I mean,
most
that's
aggressive catfish ever.
Yeah, there were some cat daddies. We'll cruise down this. There's some honorable mentions on here. Tristan McCormick, we've seen him the last little while. He's a stick. He got an 8-pounder. That was another thing about the last flight. I bet you he was not sad to be in the last flight because he got an 8-pounder on like his last stop and rocketed up to 20 pounds.
Yeah,
probably would have had. He had 13 on Bass Track. Thought he was heading in. Ty Faber, he's another guy that's been at her for a while. Jag Field, he did real good at St. Clair last year. He's a Michigan guy. Lots of guys up there, and then lots that are way down the list that I'm sure wish they would have had another day. And anyone that didn't catch him wish they had another day. Anyone that did, take it and roll on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the right side of it, it's awesome. I mean, if you're on the wrong side, it kind of sucks. But I mean, it was equal for everyone. So
yeah, the only difference is with paying down to 45 places, there's 190 guys saying, oh, I wish I had another damn day to get out there and I would have crushed them. And there's 45 saying, let's get the hell out of here. We didn't talk about Clark's Hill at all. We should touch on that a little. Hey, Brad, Chase Clark won the Derby. And that goes to show you how kind of, I don't want to say random because I don't want to take anything away from anyone that caught him, but Chase Clark is a damn good minnow slinger. It's no secret this was a minnow off this tournament. And, you guys are right beside each other. You tied him, Brad, 11-10. He won Clark's Hill on the minnow. He damn near won Leech Lake on the minnow. Like, he knows how to shake a minnow. And it's just like, if you don't get that bite or run into that right one, it's just, especially in a short derby like this. See you later.
I mean, it was the first tournament I've ever spent, well, besides St. Clair, scoping from the first second I got there to the last second I left. And it ain't an easy game. I don't care what they say. You can go buy whatever you want, and it don't mean that you're going to catch them. So, I mean, hats off to the guys that did, because it's not easy.
No, not at all.
Yeah. where are we at? We want to bring in the legend here, the classic bound. Oh, one more shout out. I got to give a shout out to the Canadian boys, or one of them, Joey T. It's his first Bassmaster Open. I don't know him. Danny McGarry said he's a beauty. That goes a long way. You know, if Danny gives you the nod. He's got an old 2 smoker out there, his first Open, all this shit going on. It gets condensed down into one day, and he sacks them up. Missed the top 10 by 1 spot, but thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
the way to go.
Yeah, bud.
We better bring the boss in. He can let us know what we did wrong.
Yeah, we got to hear it.
Yeah. This guy's good, man. I met him at the ramp prior, so
don't ruin the story, Chris.
I'm not. I'm just saying this guy's legit. I like when people win. I like this style of person winning.
Yeah, I love the story behind it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's crank him up. Ginge, you watching?
What's up, boys?
Oh
Hey.
man, he's rubbing it in her face. Look at that big trophy.
This thing's been in and out of the motel rooms with me on the way back and everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully you splurged a little and got some nicer motel rooms than some of them out there.
I tell you what, we got stuck in a blizzard coming back from Kansas. It was like the only thing close was like a night's in, and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get jacked. We got stuck in this little podunk hotel with my whole crew, my family, and it was like, oh man, what are we
living on the edge, Chris? I love it.
so, oh yeah.
They could steal anything, just don't steal the trophy. That's the only thing that's not.
I took the trophy and it was sitting by the bed.
Yeah.
Wife and kids were in the car.
Yeah, yeah, they were in there.
That's awesome that they were able to be there for all that.
Oh yeah, you couldn't have drew it up better. You know, when they eliminated the co, I'm like, you know, because I had a buddy that did the co-angler division last year, my partner back home, Brian, and when they eliminated the co's, I was like, you know what, let's just bring the whole fam. So we did a little family stuff and went fishing, man.
That's awesome.
It makes it easier, I'm sure, on the water too, just having them near, you know, and especially when you do something like this. It's what you dream about, having them with you, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you know, I'm just a small town Iowa boy traveling down there by myself with my family. You know, I ain't got a crew, so yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you got to drive through some garbage in Iowa too. I got studded tires on my truck, and I was like, oh, I got to go through.
Bruce, that's illegal.
I don't care. I'm back now.
Exactly.
But I specifically left them on because every time I've ever been through Des Moines, I've ended up sideways with a boat behind me.
Oh yeah,
so
wind's just ripping 50.
Yeah, when it was 80 degrees, you could really hear them because everything softens up, and I'd come click clacking into a boat ramp just on the way back. I was damn sure glad to have them. I'm sure you know they're going back though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, on my way home, I blew a tire in Des Moines. I had to change a tire. It was blowing like 40, and I don't even know. It was
that's terrible.
so
like
cold.
negative 20 wind chill.
Oh yeah, it was friggin' horrible. I had to back up in a bank parking lot to get my tire high enough to get it off.
My boat looks like a salt shaker right now, so I'm waiting for it to cool off to even clean it.
Yeah. I pulled mine into a car. I got home at 6 a.m. and it was minus 32. I was like, I got to spray the salt off this thing. And I hit it with the wand wash at 6 in the morning. And it's an indoor car wash too. And the boat was so cold that all the water just stuck to it.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was worried about. I'm like, I'm just going to wait. I think it's supposed to be like 30 on Saturday. So.
Yeah, it was definitely garbage.
Like,
did
what
you
am
have
I doing? Why didn't I just stay south, you know?
it's cold here. Don't. I mean, I live with 4 inches of snow. It's like 22 degrees right now in Alabama. No.
Jeez Louise. It better warm up before Kentucky Lake.
No,
you boys are going to get it. I've driven across that bridge and seen it frozen before.
I got my strike master. It'll be fine.
Brad, you're so confident.
Yeah, that big, high, muddy bitch. You might want to wait and just check the forecast. If there's like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, you guys aren't going fishing.
Yeah, we're not ever going out on that lake. That lake always blows.
Yeah, it'll just be like a crib tournament or something to settle the points. Well, we got to get your story, man.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
No, none of us know much about you other than the fact that you're from Iowa and you frigged up some bass on the weekend and won your way into the classic. So what's how long you been at her for? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been fishing tournaments since I was probably, I don't know, 23, 24. I had to financially get stable to do it. We were trying to get in tournaments with no tri-haul back in the day. So I mean, we were we were making things work, but with my dad and my cousin Brian, just local derbs, just stuff like that, cutting our teeth. And then, I kind of started a construction business. So kind of took off from there, was financially able to, get in the game. Oak Hill helped me out with getting in a boat and getting all that started, and done a lot of local stuff, had some success locally. And last couple years ago, I'm like, you know what, let's just go to the opens and swing for something here. We can finally do it. Southern swings last couple years have just kicked my teeth in. I'm not going to lie. So those Shad Lakes were a learning curve. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started. I knew coming in, I just need to go fishing. A lot of over analyzing. It's very easy to do in these big fields and big tournaments. Your brain just goes 1,000 miles an hour, and you really got to slow it down and just simplify your game. Like we all know how to fish, right? So it's like, where can you get your edge? You can get your edge by just going fishing and trusting your instincts, right? So that's coming into this tournament. I was like, I just got to simplify my whole game. And I was looking at the weather, and I'm like, I can get an edge if I can predict the curve with the cold front. And that's really what I focused on all week. I knew if I could catch, 14 to 15 in practice when it was nice out, that was kind of my floor for what I was going to bring in. And I was like, well, with the cold front, they're only going to come to me in these ditches I found. So, because it was like buck. I'm like, well, they're starting to stage. The bucks are ready. They're sitting there. So in these ditches, and I found the ones that would hold, the bait had to be sitting just right in these ditches, and these bucks were just sitting like they were just waiting for them to come in, or out. Some have already pushed up, and I was kind of banking on that too. So I kind of ran my first couple spots, and they were muddy. It was dirty, and I'm like, not going to happen. I'm like, just bail on it. Just bail. Go to the next one. I was like, I knew I found some that didn't have any inflows. I was paying attention to the inflows and stuff like that in some of those creeks. And I had a couple smaller ones that people were kind of overlooking on the main lake there, instead of like your big creeks. And I was kind of focused on those smaller creeks. And I just kind of connected with them on that one creek. I put the trolling motor down, and it happened in a hurry. So,
yeah. What time did it all go down at?
About 10 o'clock.
There you go. All the guys in the late flight crying, oh, the tournament's going to be won before we even take off.
I had one fit at 10 o'clock when I left my second. Well, it was actually my third spot. I left my third spot. I just checked real quick because it was on the way. I left my third spot. It was like 10 o'clock. I had like a 1:13. So, I was like, oh man, this ain't good. I was like, but I knew my next two were cleaner ones because they didn't have the inflows. And I was like, I pulled up. I no more put the trolling motor down, and I'm like, oh, that's a blob. It was sitting at about 15, 16. And I throw the minnow out there and just twitched her once, and she just pile drived it, and she came up. I was like 50 feet out, right? So this giant just comes up, like shakes its head. I'm like, oh my God, it's a 13-pounder. I was like a fucking freaking rodeo on the front of the boat, I'm like just freaking out. So I'm like, man, I just got a 10-pounder, when I get it in the boat. And I no more turned my trolling motor up the ditch, sitting at about 12, and there's another good one cruising up the ditch. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head I should retie, and then I see this one. I'm like, oh, I ain't got time for that. So I flick out there, and that was like a 7-10 on the very next cast. So did the same thing, gets down twitch, and she just pile drived it, and then it came up, did the same thing. I'm speed reeling to catch up because she's just diving to the surface and does the same head shake, and I'm like, oh man, here we go, So I did that one in, and I'm like, so it happened real quick on the two. And then I kind of had this stuff to myself. So I was kind of staying in that deeper ditch. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to push up in the shallower ditch next to some hay grass. And in practice, I was like, I couldn't get him to eat the minnow inside 8 foot. I don't know if it was just too heavy of a weight. I tried lighter ones. I just wouldn't eat it. I'm like, so when we had that off day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put a glide on one. If I get one up by the hay grass, I'm just going to launch this glide. So it's the Berkeley Nessie, and just launched it up there. It was like twitch, and she just come up and pile drived it. So that was an 8-8.
Which side Nessie? 7-inch.
Nice. Yeah.
That's sick. Just
Yeah, so
making
then,
all
like,
the right
those
calls.
3 fish like did it for me. You know, I cold probably 5 or 6 times, like ounce at a time on the 2 small ones. I think I still came to Wayne with that 113.
Wow.
That's a flex. Now, was it in the back of your mind because the tournament the weekend before took 41 lbs to win? Were you like, I'm gonna get 4th, or were
Yeah.
you like, I'm
Absolutely. I was like, I
taking home
need
the one
30, I
there?
need at least 30, right? Like that's what I had in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like just calling ounce, whatever, and like just catching a bunch of 110s mixed in, you know, in this ditch. And I just kept making passes through it because I got to the point after I caught the 3rd one, I'm like, well, it's a 1-day tournament. I'm gonna stay here all day because they're moving in and out of here, you know.
No, you got to go pre-fish for tomorrow.
Yeah, I was like, I can just burn this place down, which is something you can rarely do, you know.
And you
So
have the
I
chance
just
to
stayed
do
there,
it.
and then like 20 minutes before weighing, I jump off like a 3.5, and I'm like, no, there was my 30. I'm gonna lose. It's gonna cost me. So the whole drive back, I'm like, yeah, I just lost because I lost that fish in my head, you know. You know, it's never enough. It's Texas. I mean, guys, look at Rasmussen. He caught a 13-pounder. I mean,
yeah, that was nuts. We were riding him so bad about not turning it in for a share lunker because they give you like, I think they give you $1,000 in a replica.
He didn't turn it in.
No, he's like, well, you're not allowed to live well them. I was like, dude, we fished a tournament at the St. Lawrence a few years ago, and Jody White fished like a club tournament the weekend before during practice and got the okay to live well them. I'm pretty sure Hank's gonna let you put a 14-pounder in your live well.
Just make the call to Hank. He'll let it slide.
Maybe Raz thought he was going to catch it again. He didn't want to move it off the juice hole.
He said that, and I was like, dude, if you brought in that same fish, there'd be a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But I get
Eyeballs,
it, man. Like
hanging out its head.
Yeah.
I've never seen a bass anywhere near that big. Like he obviously wasn't thinking that straight. He said he had to just sit down and rip darts for half an hour till he could cast again. Yeah, well, that's sick, man. We're pumped for you because we don't see that many. How old are you?
37.
Yeah, so you're in the Just for Men club like us.
Yeah.
Like we grew up.
You're an old timer.
Yeah, getting a little bit weathered. It's nice to see
anymore. That's weird to say, huh? Old timer, 37. Yeah.
You're past your prime already, but
it's rare that a tournament's won by anyone over 30 anymore, really. When was I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but like Milliken won on Toledo. Maybe just Texas is for the old boys.
Maybe I moved to Texas.
I can't even remember the rest. I'm sure there were some older fellas that cracked them, but you did her for the boys, bud.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was good. It was nice to see them come together.
Midwest boy too.
I haven't looked it up, but are you like the first guy going from Iowa to the Classic, or you have to be?
Greg Vance a while back from Iowa. That's the only one I can remember. Greg's a good buddy of mine. So
okay. I mean, it has to be pretty rare. I mean, I'm from Minnesota. There's a handful. There ain't many.
Yeah, Minnesota's got a pretty good following. Iowa, we got a decent following, but not like Minnesota or even farther north.
Yeah,
we're kind of in that. Outside of Bogie, we got the river over there across the state and a handful of lakes in central Iowa. But I mean, we got to travel to fish, really. So,
yeah, you got one great thing: giant deer,
whitetail. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Don't get the boys started on this.
Don't get girls going on it. No,
you're gonna turn Western real quick.
It's such a disadvantage too. Like for the working man, as far as like when you gotta go put in the work to work and then shut that off and go fish. That's a whole nother thing. A lot of guys are already on to the next one.
Yeah, you could. I mean, there's a lot of people in the elites that have never worked a day in their life.
Right.
And that number's going this way real quick.
Yeah, it's growing real quick.
And I mean, that's how sports progress and that's how sports works. But when you're grinding her out Monday to Friday, you're just like, it's pretty damn easy to get jealous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know the herd ball, Chancey Walters? He's the only other Iowa angler, right?
Yeah, Chancey's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, though, the one great thing about this was Chris was you and me meeting, though. Was that not good?
I tell you what, that was a wild third day of practice.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
We
like, oh,
we made friends quick. He seen my Jared tall ass jumping from his boat from like 7 feet. But
you were like a spider monkey.
yeah, but the best
I-
thing about you, Chris, though, is like what I said to you right away. I'm just like, dude, he's helping me pull my boat off of the ramp. Wind's crashing in. We're screaming at each other. And you heard what I told you. I told you thanks. They said, go out there and win this goddamn thing. And look what you did. Look what you did.
Yeah, we brought her home, baby.
I was laughing so hard. I told Brad that right away. I'm like, this son of a bitch won.
Why didn't you give us that treatment, girl?
Yeah,
We're
what the
staying
heck,
with you, for
girl?
God's sakes.
I love it. This is
That was
awesome.
a wild morning. I'm like, I was looking at the weather and I'm like, oh, it's not supposed to blow, you know? And I run up past the bridge. I'm in the middle when this stuff hits. And I'm like, oh, this is getting bad. I'm like, I just turn around. I ate a couple. I had water over my seat. So I'm like soaked through my rain suit. I'm like getting back. And then I finally get back at like noon because I had to go like, 7 mile an hour to even get back. It's like 7 footers. So,
It's bad.
I get the boat back and I just put it on the bank and didn't even care. I had to go warm up in the truck, I'm like, well, I just lost a half a day of practice. Then I see you, and then I thought for sure you were gonna eat it when you were trying to jump to your boat, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got her out there. You pulled me off the bank.
Yeah, we lassoed it. We got
Hats
it.
off. I appreciate it. Good
When
deed.
you're that
Good deed.
when you're that wet, it doesn't matter if you fall in the lake anyway.
Right.
You may as well just
Dude,
get jumped
I wish
right
we had
in.
a
the
camera
first
rolling.
moment.
We were the only ones there screaming like a bunch of idiots. Two
Oh, we
Midwest
were too.
guys.
We were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got her. And then I took off. You seen me take off, and I set it down, and I'm like, my teeth are clacking because I haven't dried off yet. Screw this. I'm going back to Humphrey. So I turned around, put it on the trailer, and drove back to Humphrey.
Oh, you did you? I kept going. I said, fuck it.
I hope Danny's listening because he said you have to practice from sun up till sundown to win. Obviously, Chris didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, all I know is I got that last day when it pissed rain all day. I had my good sim suit on, the insulated one. I was living still, and I got in. There was 10 minutes of daylight left, and I was like, I'm leaving 10 minutes on the clock. And the only vehicle left at Humphrey was the Aussie's big panel van. So shout out to Tommy Wood. He got his first check in the Bassmaster Opens, and you don't come to Australia and cash a check in one of those without a pile of hard work. So
I was really surprised on that third day of practice on how like so many guys didn't even go out.
Yeah, in 3 days. That's bold. I wish I wouldn't have, but
yeah, I didn't get nothing figured out on that last day. I might as well not.
yeah, just get everything soaked.
That's the working man's mentality, like we just do it.
You got to get out there, whether it's going to do anything or not. You got to leave it all out there. And that's the motto, right?
Back in the day, you go practice where the wind's going to come at us. So I went practice like everything that'd be protected with the north wind. And nowadays, we just don't even go out, I guess.
Yeah, you may as well start your practice in the dead center of the biggest lake there is because you're going to be able to fish it.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone should just get a flat bottom boat in case you have to get into another area. It doesn't matter. Don't learn how to drive. Brad goes, there was a guy in a little John boat crashing into people.
No, he had like this big Voxus dude. He crashed into like 4 people the first day. It was insane.
So we get back to the house and I'm pissed. Like I want to go because I got an absolute buffalo boat. Like I'm, ready to go. I got the deep V. Like let's go. And I'm pissed. I was like, these Care Bears. And then Brad's like, as much as you wanted to go, that guy couldn't even drive around in the bay. You wanted to send him out into the lake. I don't think so.
I would gladly went out there. But we're from the north. Like we all fish big water all the time. So
right.
You're set up, you're ready to go. You're not gonna go 70 around that corner, but you'll get to where you need to go.
Yep. Yeah. And we learned at Lake of the Ozarks a couple of years ago because the wreck traffic would pick up, and it's the craziest place on earth for pleasure boats. You were there. And these guys, they'd leave 20 minutes to go to weigh in, and I've never seen more boats in a service yard. Like that huge wave, just whatever, smoke it. I'm like, oh my God, I get it now. Yeah.
Those poor service guys, when they go to places like that, it's just there. Detroit River.
Around the clock.
Yeah. Bad scene. Well, I know RJ from Powerhouse was fired up for you. You can tell you're his boy. And I gotta say this: there's a million good battery companies out there. They all have high performance, and you can go hard at them. But that run and gun charging system, when you're staying at a house with 7 different guys, campers plugged in, everyone just fiending off one 15 amp breaker. Like there's a lot of room for error. And there was one day in practice where I didn't get charged up, and that run and gun system, you're going to be fine. So that's the plug there. But that is in this climate where everyone's going hard on their trollers, that's like a requirement now.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you could practice. I mean, I've had it where I haven't had power going to some of these events, and I haven't, depending on how much you're running, you don't even have to charge all week on those batteries.
I called RJ today to get some dirt on Chris, and he didn't even have any.
What?
Yeah. Can you believe that? He said something about a eco map or something, but I didn't understand what he was talking about.
Hey, Brad, I was supposed to ask you, how many Asians are you bringing to the Classic this year?
Hopefully a couple.
Oh my God. What the hell?
No, that's from RJ.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I stayed at RJ's house last year at the Classic, and it was out of control. Like it really was. And then Teal was doing a podcast there about Ghost, and it was freaky. I mean, just not good.
So the Classic, man, you only got to wait 13 months until you go to Knoxville.
It's gonna be forever.
That is torture.
And it was like driving home, I must have said it 1,000 times in my head, like I'm going to Classic. It's a lifelong dream, obviously. It really didn't set in, and then Bass messaged me the email for the off limits, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really going to the Classic.
You're going to the best place to have a Classic. It's probably not the best fishing, but I'll tell you what, the nightlife is
fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah,
everything's centralized.
We'll be straight game face, but yeah.
So you said you run a construction business?
Yep.
What do you guys do?
Build houses on the lake here in Okoboji. We live. Okay. It's a pleasure town. So it's we build big lake houses up here. So
right. So you got 13 months. You got to go without sustaining an injury. Are you just going to be on the ground level barking at the youngsters on the rafters, or are you going to be thinking a little extra?
We're going to play it pretty safe.
Yeah. I think you should just smoke in the truck and rip coffees and just bark orders. Get them a couple radios.
I love it. This is awesome.
Yeah, I got a really good crew. So I got good leadership in my company. So it's nice as how I'm able to do this. So it really takes some pressure off me as far as financials, trying to make this run here. So it's the key to what's going on now. Being able to actually shut that off and focus on fishing and go,
Well,
yeah,
you got a good start to that there, homie.
yeah. We just got to keep it going. We got to stay locked in. I want to soak it in, but we got to stay locked in. There's still 3 to go. There's a long season, definitely with all you guys behind me. So I gotta stay focused. Kentucky Lake, I've been there once, so that's good. I got a little bit of experience on that place. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm bowing out just to give Brad and Grow a couple points.
We needed it, Brucey. Thank you.
We need it.
No, everyone keeps sending me texts. Oh, you got 60th good or 65th good points. I'm like, yeah, I'm just fishing this one in Leech Lake.
Oh, you're not doing all 4, Gussie?
No.
Or Brucey?
No. I wanted to do one down south just to see the boys and go to a good lake that's full of fish where I'm not going to have to grind like crazy and hate my life. And doing that one, and then Leech is just 5 hours from the house, so I'm not doing the whole thing. And I think there's probably a pretty good handful of us that just kind of hopped in the first couple. So again, when you're looking at the points, I mentioned it earlier to not be licking your wounds if you got a triple digit, because it's not a crazy feat to make the top 50 with that at all. But you got to remember those jackpotters, like that gap goes down too. So depending on where that lies, you could be sitting even prettier than you think. I don't know how many locals are in this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure there's going to be a pile.
Well,
yeah,
we'll see when we go to Kentucky how many people show up, I guess.
I had a buddy that tried to get in, and they said there was like 40 on the wait list. So it's
Kentucky?
On Kentucky is what I heard.
Wow.
He called Hank. That's what he said. So I don't know. We'll see.
It's full.
I'll just be down there flying solo, seeing what I can do.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, and I don't think it's going to be as scope crazy as everyone thinks. That's kind of my feeling on it. Anyone
the
got any
guys
thoughts on that?
So good with it. Like when you think they're not, they do. It's like it's.
I know, but this, like Rayburn, everyone knew was going to be a scope off.
Yeah.
Current does different things to fish.
Yeah, it sets them up a little different. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, not even that, but man, I guess I can't really talk about it because I'm not fishing it, but I've pretty common knowledge. There's more rough fish in that lake than anywhere in North America.
There is. There's more Asian carp in that lake and Jerome, like crazy. Not so many catfish though.
Nice.
Just got good at those.
Chancey showed us a little trick to get those boogers off the line.
Yeah,
it was life changing.
Yeah.
Get the what off the line?
The catfish line.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brad's just gonna say that he gave us a tip and not actually give the tip to anyone.
I don't even really know. You just ball it all up, turn your line over, and snap it. It just goes flying off.
No, there's no snapping.
I'll
show you a visual example because this was the honest highlight of my.
And mind you, this is Chancey's.
Yeah, this is Chancey's, not mine.
Follow him on the gram, Chancey Walters. So you catch a catfish, you get this much snot on your line, like 2 feet up. You cut your leader, you ball it up into your bait, and it's just a shit show either way. Well, Chancey says this is your jig end, and this is all catfish here. You just take your line, fold it in half, and then take your fingers and run it to the bow you've just made, and then flick it off, and it's gone. No retie, no gob on your bait. Like, probably saved me 20 minutes in the tournament and probably saved me from putting it back on the trailer and going home and practice.
Interesting. I had a couple big catfish in practice, and it's like, golly, I thought I had one of them Texas slobs in practice. It was like 15-pound flathead,
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Same thing. Slime 3 foot up the line,
Yeah, I uploaded all my GoPro stuff. I just had it rolling, here and there during the week. And I'm watching myself catch catfish. And like, I'm still thinking there's a possibility that it's a bass, 5 seconds in. But when you see it bite and you're watching the rod from a camera, immediately it's a catfish. But you like on the water, you're just like, it's a bass, it's a bass. No, you could tell in the first 0.5 seconds that it's a cat daddy.
The first roll. Yeah.
Yeah,
strategy.
I'm not good enough to tell on the forward facer which one's a catfish or which one. I mean, if you watch them long enough, you can. But man, that first cast, it fools me every time.
Yeah, the bigger ones you could tell, but the lower ones, no.
But can you though? Because there's 14-pound bass in the lake.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it sucks. You're right.
Those quarter string are long too.
Oh yeah,
and they'll track it for a while, just like a bass, and then they'll heat it. It's like, dude.
Yeah. They get skinny once they get close to the boat. You can see. How
about the crappies? I think we each got some big crappies.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. You can't tell the difference between a 4-pound largemouth and a 16-inch crappie on scope.
No way.
I can't. I've been scoping since the PS21 days, and they still, other than how they react, the blob still tricks you.
I'm sure because the pan, right? Side.
Yeah, they look magnum, and there's huge ones there. Chancey kept like 3 and fed the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
He did. He did.
That guy can cook.
Oh,
I
that
didn't
duck.
get the single crappie in practice.
He made us some duck, and his duck is like
Amazing.
the best duck you've ever
Insane.
eaten. And Kenta was eating his first piece, and he was spitting out BBs he had 3 BBs in the first piece. I'm like, holy crap, Chance, you're trying to wreck Kenta's teeth.
Captain didn't
he
stop
did get
though.
him.
He kept.
He didn't stop. It didn't scare him off. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Kenta eating crawdaddies was like
Oh my God.
Oh
it
my
was like a
God.
work of art. That
That's
guy would
good.
eat 5 pounds before Brad could even eat 1.
Oh my God. He was
Lightning
so
bolt.
quick.
Just
Out of
loving
control.
life.
Oh, those mud bugs are so good. I could go for some right now.
Mm.
Crawdaddies at the stump. That place is iconic. Did you make your way into the stump at all?
We did make
Crossing the
it to the
ramp?
stump once. Yeah, I played it safe and got a cheeseburger. The wife got some crawfish though. She didn't care. She said it'd be better off just getting shrimp. She said so.
Well, it's
The
true.
stump is legendary though. It's a cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
spot.
all the old jerseys on the wall, and that's
Yeah,
it.
super cool. The nostalgia there is pretty cool.
Just that whole area. It's kind of like being around Gunnersville, like it's bass
Oh,
fishing country. Like it's awesome. Once you get
Wait.
down there, you're just like, these are my people.
Yeah. Every house you drive by, it doesn't matter if there's a roof on the house, they still have a bass boat outside.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
I-
Beat up
I-
ass truck, but a brand new rig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So priorities, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
best example, we shredded the yard after the rain day. Like
Yes.
the boys in the campers just had a mud and derby out there, just bogging away, and we're like, oh, Brad's not getting his damage deposit back. And he talked to the girl, and she was like, "Oh, I see Kenta's staying there." Like, was just all fired up, didn't care.
She could care less. She's like, there's more plugins in the back. And she actually said, because I messaged her, it's an awesome place to stay. And I messaged her, if we get delayed, can we stay until Sunday? And right away she messaged back, yeah, you guys can stay for free. Like, yeah, just stay. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like that's
Good
awesome.
people.
So
It's like when you get in those towns.
yeah,
That's great.
there's a sign when we walk in, like there's some old towels, and it says boat towels on them. Like you
Never
just
seen that.
you ain't seeing
Never
that in New
seen that.
York.
Yeah.
The kids at the weigh-in helping out was like
Oh,
so
yeah.
cool. Like just the whole, like everyone's nice. The kids with my wife were yes ma'am, no ma'am. The kids actually helped me get the fish out of the boat. I pulled up. I'm like 6 feet from the shore, so I'm like, oh, I'm getting wet. But the kid walks out in muck boots and helps me get my fish, and super nice kids. It was really cool to see that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anytime
did you let him hold one up for a picture over the lake?
yeah, no.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man? He's there helping you. At least give him a picture.
He's like, I'll hold your bag. He's like, oh my gosh, Yeah, my kids come to all the local weigh-ins, stuff like that. So they're around fishing all the time. I love seeing kids in the sport, and it's the future of the sport. And it's super cool to see those kids. I think they were like high school fishing. I think they were part of that or something, or
Yeah.
they got fishing in
A bunch
school
of
there.
them.
What time did you weigh in at, and how was that waiting for that weigh-in? I bet you that was stressful.
Oh man, Hank had me up there like 100 anglers on the hot seat, and I'm just like,
Yeah, you were in early.
What?
yeah. So I came in, so I was like fishing, and I just jumped off like that 3.5 or whatever, and I'm like, that cost me, and I was like, oh, I can still fish for like 15 minutes. I'm usually like at the last second kind of guy, and I'm like, you know what? What if something happens and I got to get like my fish? I think I'm sitting good. I think I got a top 5 in my head, right? I didn't know if I had enough to win at that. I don't know, So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna head back. So I was like, I had one spot real close that I stopped at real quick and just scoped it out real quick, and it's like, no, let's go back. So I ended up coming in like 11 minutes early. So I was boat 45. So I think I actually weighed in with somewhere around the first flight, second flight-ish.
Holy cow, you had hours to wait.
Yeah, long.
Yeah, so it was a long couple hours. I just enjoyed the ride with my family there. It was. I mean, you couldn't have drew it up better with my kids there and my family to witness that. It's a memory we'll cherish forever. So But yeah, that 45, Sean, my wife timed it. She's like, you were on the hot seat for 45 minutes. And she's like, you can't sit still at home. Like, so she just, you see my foot's up there, like shaking like a Ford Fender or something, like, and it worked out, man. It's feel blessed. So.
Yeah, and probably a good call, like taking her a couple minutes early because there's lots of stuff to hit there. And something that I thought about kind of late in the game, two things about not having co-anglers. One, the boat ramp's a shit show because everyone's got to self-launch the boat and go over. And two, if you break down, you can't just fire your fish with your co into another boat. Like you got to go through. Like Cooper Glenn on the St. Lawrence just put his on spot lock in the middle of the river. That's why they drove it in. Like, don't just abandon your boat because I think no one knew where he was. I guess.
Yeah,
he's just like, I got to get to weigh in. But yeah, with that in place, especially on that big stretch, you can't just throw your boat on spot lock right in front of the weigh-in and hop in with someone and leave your boat. Like it's going to take. What I'm saying is, it's going to take a few minutes. You're going to have to take 5 minutes. Get someone to follow you into shore, put the poles down. So that was
kind of my thinking too. I'm like, I'm going to need at least 10 minutes to figure something out if, I hit a stump or something crazy happens,
Yeah. Pile her up onto the riprap and just start running.
Yeah.
I think Brad was thinking about doing that at the Mississippi River when he was stuck in the water.
I was so close. I was so close to so there's that waterfall thing, like calling Hank and saying my boat's broke and jumping over the waterfall and landing on Austin's boat and driving in. I don't know if there's a rule against that or not.
Yeah, that guy wants 10 grand bad. I've heard of guys hopping over that spillway in John boats. I don't know if that's just local legend or what, but
I mean, if I've been sitting over there, I would have probably tried it, honestly.
Oh boy. Well, shit, man. Anything else you want to say before we cut you loose here?
Just thanks for having me, guys. Like I said, it's a dream come true, and it's fun being on here. Hope to see you guys at the next one.
Yeah, man.
Brad and Chris will be there, right?
Yeah.
We're pumped for you, man. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a fun journey, man. And like you said, we love seeing the working man do this. Because when it all comes down to it, all of us are. Except for Brad.
Absolutely.
Being a stripper is not work.
Yeah, and it's such a humbling sport. So to see we're just work, and for it to come to fruition, right away and to start the year is it's an out of body experience.
I mean, you're giving the older men hope in life.
Yes.
I mean, you're good. Trojan horse over there.
Yeah, I got some local people that help me out, and it's just good to see, just bring this back to Okoboji and Spirit Lake, Iowa. It's been cool, the calls and text, and I just want to do it again. I just want to get locked back in and get down and start fishing again.
It's coming quick. It's coming.
Yeah,
quick. The waterfall
next week you'll be.
We gotta go spray some salt off the boat. Let's get it floating again. Let's go. We got about a foot of ice on our lake right now. So.
Yeah, like Brad said, you're giving the older boys hope, and you probably just cost them like $100 million over the next 10 years. Everyone from 35 to 55.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, we're pumped for you. Pumped to see you at the Classic in 6 years or whenever you're fishing that. Be careful at work. Good luck at Kentucky.
Yes.
And I'm going to be pulling for all you boys. I'm going to be sitting in my office chair and wishing I was there with you. So good job again, man. Thanks, Bass Galaxy, for watching, and we'll let Girl and Brad take you out.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Hope to see you down there. Thanks for having me. See ya.
See ya.
Are we going to talk about the elites at all, or no? Just skip over that.
It's not into the great white elites, bud.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's your pick? We at least got to make a pick, each of us.
Yeah, we should pick. Who's going to win this sucker, Brucey?
Brian New.
That's a good pick.
Bob
Yeah.
Downey.
Bob Downey. I'm going to go with, I don't even know. Probably a flat bill.
Trey McKinney, probably. You like him.
Yeah, I mean, Trey's
Man.
probably a pick.
Backup pick and probably primary pick, Easton Fothergill.
Ooh.
Yeah.
People are looking at him like he's just a scoper. That guy can fish all the way around.
Yeah.
I'm going with a random one. Ready for my backup? Tyler Williams.
T-Dub?
Yeah.
T-Dub?
I like it.
I'm gonna give some shout out to Fighter. Isn't that the lake where the lady was yelling at Fighter?
In the canal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
he'll be
believe
back
it.
in there talking.
He had
about it.
he had a good tournament that year. I think a top 10. He'll probably be in there.
You're right. The pitch were doing the same thing, kind of. We're going
Yeah.
up on bed, getting cold. You got a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like Brian New. I remember him winning that.
First ever elite.
First ever.
I don't remember
He
where it
pitched
was, but I remember how long
Thanks,
he was. It was at St. John's.
Yeah.
I remember how long he was soaking that Gary, and I was like, you ain't doing that unless you're like a seasoned Florida boy and it's going to be cold. That's why I like him for it.
Dude, he's good. He's a good angler, man. He's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're done your picks. Can we get out of here?
Yeah, you can go. You got to get to Youngin, I bet.
I certainly do. It's weird. You're gone for 9 days and you're
They missed you.
Yeah.
We love you, Brucey.
Yeah, good
Love
job,
you boys
Bruce.
too. Have a good night, fellas. Thanks, Ginge. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Bass Galaxy. See you guys on the next one.
See
Hey,
you
Bruce.
guys. Good night.